channel. You know, I want to do a little recap on my recent win at the opener of the Walmart FLW Tour on Lake Toho in Kissimmee, Florida. You know, when I started out practicing for that event, we had a warm front coming. We also had a full moon on the first day of the tournament. When that happens in Central Florida in March, you know one thing, you know those big females are going to spawn, and they like to spawn around isolated cover. So I spent all 3 days of practice running around finding every piece of isolated cover that had good bottom around it and you know, decent grass around it, but not too thick. And mostly on Lake Kissimmee and Lake Toho. Went all the way around the lake marking all these and also fishing them, but without a hook, so I could shake the fish off so I wouldn't catch the fish and let them know that I was coming back for them once the tournament started. And that's exactly what happened. I used my Lowrance GPS units. I had all these fish that I had shooken off marked, and I had them all marked with different color-coded icons, so I knew which fish I thought were bigger and which fish I thought were smaller, and so I could target those big ones right off the bat and come in with a big bag, and it worked out, and I did. So I went around and caught the biggest fish that I could on the first couple of days when the moon was close, and I knew the full moon was close, and I knew those big females would be on those beds. And how I caught those, I caught them on a Gambler Fat Ace. I had a 5/16 or a 1/2 ounce Rains tungsten weight. The Rains tungsten weight, very important. It has an insert in it. As far as I know, it's the only weight nowadays that has an insert in it, and I don't want my line in any way, shape, or form touching that tungsten weight, because it can be really sharp and it can break you off. Laser Trocard TK130 hook and a Gambler Fat Ace. I use 17-pound Berkeley Trilene 100% fluorocarbon, a Halo heavy action 7/6 daylight rod, and a Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier 7-to-1 ratio reel. This is the setup that I caught 90% of the fish on in the tournament. Matter of fact, all the fish on days 1, 2, and 4 I caught on this setup with the Fat Ace. Now on day 3, what happened was we had a cold front come through, and it never fails in Florida. You're always going to get a cold front when there's a tournament. I don't know how it happens, but it always does. But you know, I had a little backup plan for that. I stayed in Lake Toho that day, and I broke out my Nichols spinnerbait. This is my little Florida spinnerbait right here. This is my guy. It's a 1/2 ounce pulsator from Nichols. As you can see, it's got the black nickel blades with a little bit of purple fleck in it, black, blue, and purple skirt. That color combination right there down here in these tannic waters in Florida really will catch them, and it'll catch them good. I'm not trying to imitate a shad with this bait. I'm imitating brim, and these Florida fish really like it. Once again, same thing, 17-pound Berkeley Trilene 100% fluorocarbon. I used a 7.3 medium heavy Halo titanium series rod and a 6:3-to-1 ratio Bass Pro Shops Johnny Morris Signature Series reel. This was my setup for the spinnerbait. Basically, I fished it in shallow, sparse hydrilla areas, and you know, on Lake Toho, there's a lot of deeper, sparse hydrilla out there in, say, 6-7 feet of water. I was targeting shallow fish that were trying to spawn. They were getting in the areas. I was targeting about 2 feet of water with scattered hydrilla, and you know, and that spinnerbait really paid off for me. Kept me in the game and kept me with a 12-pound lead going into the almost 13-pound lead going into the last day, and I needed about every bit of it because my fish really went away on me the 3rd day, but I still caught enough on the isolated cover to take home the trophy. And you know, what a great week I had. You know, I had it all planned out, and actually everything went right to plan. And you know, I just can't say enough about the equipment I used. You know, the Ranger boats, Mercury outboard, but one of the main things fishing that isolated cover was my power poles. If I wouldn't, in the wind, if I wouldn't have been able to stick those power poles down in the ground and make repetitive casts of those isolated pieces of cover, I don't think I could have taken home the trophy. But those power poles kept me stuck, kept me throwing right where I needed to be throwing, and we got it done. And man, it feels great to start off the year with a big W. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be coming up with an update for the Lewis Smith tournament here real soon.